All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome everyone to today's session of our Workforce Barrier Summit, addressing obstacles in recruitment and retention. We appreciate you joining us today. Today we are talking about workforce strengthening programs. In today's rapidly evolving economy, ensuring a strong and skilled workforce is essential for both individuals and regional employers. Across the country, organizations and programs are stepping up to strengthen workforce readiness and connect skilled, qualified individuals with family-sustaining employment opportunities. By reimagining education and training systems, these initiatives are addressing barriers, fostering innovation, and creating sustainable pathways to success. Today, I am excited to invite three of these such programs to share information, along with our panel facilitator today. I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Jana Nellybell.
Yeah, thanks, Corinne. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jana Nellybell. I'm the Sustainability Manager here at the Scranton Area Community Foundation, and I'm thrilled to have you here continuing the conversations for workforce, and today workforce barriers, and three fabulous organizations that are working with clients every single day and helping them, connecting them to good jobs and connecting them with employers. So I'm going to introduce each one at a time. One will do a presentation, then I'll introduce the next one, then I'll introduce the third one. So first up, Mary Teresa Mazer. She's the program director of NHC. One thing, there are a few things in common with all three. There are several acronyms for all three. Well, number one, you all work at fabulous organizations and do really important work every single day. But also I was very pleased to see that all three of you are local, born and raised here in Northeastern Pennsylvania. So, start going back to the acronyms. So Mary Teresa is the program director of NHC, or the National Health Corps for NEPA, at Northeast PA AHEC, or the Northeastern Pennsylvania Area Health Education Center, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to enhancing access to primary health care and contributing toward the quality of health for people in our region, especially in rural and medically underserved community areas, and Mary Teresa is going to talk more about that. As I mentioned, she's a proud native of Northeastern Pennsylvania, and also serves as the program director of the NHC AmeriCorps and Commonwealth Civilian Coronavirus Corps. And as a side note, we're really thrilled to have the partnership with AHEC and the National Health Corps to be able to host a community fellow here at the Scranton Area Community Foundation. And Corinne, I guess you're not on camera, and I don't know. Oh, yay! So here we have our community fellow, Mackenzie McElroy, who just started yesterday, actually. And so we're thrilled to have her jump right in. Thank you, Corinne, for showing Mackenzie in the shout out. So Mackenzie is going to be with us through January and through this fellowship. And what that means is it's going to support the NEPA Thrives initiative and our asset mapping, developing the asset map, addressing barriers to employment. So Mary Teresa describes herself as a lifelong learner, and I thought this was also really interesting and very cool. She earned her master's degree in communications from Marywood University in the same year that her daughters graduated from elementary school and high school. So that's really fantastic. It's a really neat. So throughout her career, she's shared her talents with many community health projects, including producing a health education program for WVIA, serving as a school health coordinator for Steps to a Healthier PA in Luzerne County, a community health associate for Geisinger's Fresh Food Pharmacy, and manager of regional affairs for Geisinger School, Commonwealth School of Medicine. And in her free time, she and her husband enjoy the parks and trails in Northeastern Pennsylvania, concerts and theater events, cooking, reading, local history, and traveling to DCE to spend time with their daughters. So Mary Teresa, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here today. And yes, I will absolutely tell you, we are acronym soup. We are the Northeast PA Area Health Education Center, and our whole goal is to build the healthcare workforce of the future. Our challenges are harder now than ever post-pandemic. In a couple ways we do that. First, let me tell you a little bit about AHEC on the next slide. There are AHECs all over the country. We have t-shirts that say, "What the heck is AHEC?" because people don't know us well enough. Next slide. It was developed by Congress in 1971. We're part of a national network. There are 7 regions in Pennsylvania, and the Northeast region here covers Bradford, Susquehanna, Sullivan, Wyoming, Lackawanna, Luzerne, Wayne, Pike, and Monroe counties. We are doing our best to reach out into those rural counties because shortages are very real, and the problem in rural counties is extremely serious. Next slide. We recruit, train, and retain. So we start in junior high with programs for junior and senior high school students. We have a program for college students studying healthcare careers. We do community outreach. We do professional education, professional development for existing healthcare professionals. And next slide. One of our major programs is that we now provide training for community health workers. And this is the Pennsylvania accredited program, and it's the first step to becoming a certified community health worker. So pretty much with this, you can come into this training just to have the community health worker training. And there are people working in the community for major healthcare centers like Geisinger and the Wright Center who employers decide they would like to have 75 hours of instruction, health literacy and chronic disease. They understand HIPAA, patient documentation, prevention, cultural competencies, safety, boundaries. So far, we have trained 145 CHWs, and this could stand independently. However, you do have to come into the program through an employer. So it is professional development. You can't just sign up for it because at a state level, we are not equipped to be able to take payment from people. So it has to come in, they have to come into this part of the program through an employer. Next slide. Community health workers contribute to the improved health outcomes in a community. They promote health right in the neighborhoods and the communities where they live. And they often share some socioeconomic status, ethnicity, language, life experience with the community members they serve. This is a relatively new initiative in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is looking to build a population of trained community health workers to help alleviate some of the shortages in the healthcare system. So these people can have many, many roles. They could be a patient advocate, they could be a doula, they could be a certified recovery specialist. They can make referrals for people to specialists, to other social service agencies. So if there's problems with food insecurity, transportation, cancer issues, they can be the boots on the ground that can do some of that legwork, and the doctors and nurses can work on the hands-on clinical care. Next slide. Another option we have to become a CHW is through our apprenticeship program. And this is an agreement between Northeast PA AHEC and a partnering organization. For example, the Wright Center. The Wright Center wants to hire a new employee. They want to train them as a CHW, and they want them to work and earn their certification. The partnering organization receives a $4,000 honorarium. The CHW receives a $7,500 stipend throughout this apprentice period. So they're taking the classes, they're on the job, they're receiving training from their apprenticeship site, and they're working toward those competencies with the workplace team and the AHEC staff with the goal of becoming a certified community health worker. And they could do that after 1 full year of full-time employment, either volunteer or employment, or 2,000 hours of full-time or volunteer employment. So this is a great stepping stone as well. And then the last one, next slide. The last way you could become a community health worker is to sign up and apply to be part of the National Health Corps. We are under, if we're a SOUP acronym, we are a partnership extravaganza. This comes under the AmeriCorps program, which is similar to Peace Corps, except the service members volunteer in needy areas in the United States, not in foreign countries. Our grantee is the Health Federation of Philadelphia, so that is the oversight organization. When I say our national office, that's who I'm referring to. This is our first cohort. We were born in the pandemic to help alleviate the problems caused by the pandemic. Right now, that focus has shifted to advancing public health and reducing health disparities. So people need to apply to this program. And as part of the program, they receive those community health worker classes that NEPA AHEC provides. Next slide. And our whole goal is to foster healthy communities by connecting those who need it most with health and wellness education, benefits, and services while developing tomorrow's compassionate health leaders. Next slide. So our goals locally, our National Health Corps program is called the Community Health Fellowship. And our goal, beyond this being a national service program, is to provide workforce development, because we're providing first and foremost the community health worker training, and we're matching them with the host site where they could do a 46-week service term of on-the-job training. We want to reduce those health disparities and advance public health. And we definitely want to serve in underserved and rural areas. So right now, I have a member serving with Food Dignity in Wilkes-Barre, which addresses food insecurity. I have a member with Valley in Motion. They are a community wellness program. They're very focused in the Connell Park neighborhood of Scranton to try to reduce those health disparities, increase community involvement. We're working in Sullivan County, fingers crossed that we might have a member there this term. Next slide. The members, it's a great opportunity for members, and it's a great first step or getting back into the workforce, because they receive a $15 an hour living stipend. It is a full-time position. They have access to medical, dental, and vision coverage if they need it. They can apply for child care assistance and SNAP benefits to see if they're eligible. When they complete the 46 weeks, which accounts to 1,700 hours, they will receive an educational grant of $7,395. They could use that to put it on a student loan, or they could use it for a future educational opportunity, and they have 7 years. So that is a real plus, and it is an excellent resume builder. Next slide. Some of our challenges, getting the word out has been very difficult. Yes, we're on social media. Yes, we go to career fairs and health fairs, but we're not glitzy, right? So there's a lot of noise out there. And maintaining high quality websites and portals so that people can apply can become very expensive. And the national office handles that. But again, funding is always tight. Since the pandemic, inflation has left us all wondering what's next. So $15 an hour is no longer a big incentive. It was a much different environment in 2021. They really do need to have transportation. I'm not saying it's impossible for me to take someone to the program who needs to take the bus, but it would be very, very complicated. And most host sites are looking for someone who can go to another location, to a meeting, to meet with the partner. They need to come in with good computer skills. I mean, be able to run email, use Word, a little bit of Excel, a little bit of PowerPoint. We have a real need for bilingual members, but that's someone who can speak and write both in Spanish and English, and that's a little difficult to come by. Funding, as everyone knows, funding right now is a major headache. We are well funded, but we still have a deficit. So we're asking host sites to contribute $14,000 toward this person's service year to cover some of the stipend That is a real barrier for many of our host sites. And sometimes we have people come into the program, and after a few weeks or a few months, it's uncovered that they have mental health issues that they're dealing with, and the 9 to 5 grind is just too much for them. So that is a barrier as well, because they are people who really need the career boost, but mentally they're just not in a place where they could carry this out for 46 weeks. Next slide. I'd like you to meet some of our success stories. Audrey is a mother of 3. She did 2 service terms at the Greater Wyoming Valley YMCA. She taught all kinds of classes, including swimming to elementary school kids in Wilkes-Barre area school districts. She, with her first educational grant, paid off a 20-year student loan. And now she's still working part-time at the Y as their employee, and she's also working toward her bachelor's degree. So we can't thank Audrey enough for her service. Next slide. Scarlett. Scarlett was born in the Dominican Republic. She's a U.S. citizen, graduated from Keystone. She served for the Wright Center. She is completely bilingual. She was an absolute godsend at the Wright Center, and she still works for them. And she's completing her studies for a master's in public health. Next slide. Laureen Nguyen and Jasleen Carr are both in medical school and planning to become physicians. Next slide. These are just some of our partners. So we are Acronym Soup and we are Partner Soup. Next slide. If you'd like to sign up for AHEC's newsletter, you can use this QR code for that. And if you'd like to get in touch with me, you can ask Corinne. Or next slide. There is my, okay. You can get to me through Corinne or go to nationalhealthcorps.org/NEPA and you will find her. Ah, there I am. You can email me at that email address. So that's what we've been up to. And trust me, it is a handful. We might have federal funding, but we work.
Wow, thank you so much, Mary Teresa. That's just really incredible, and showing the your success stories is just really
Yes,
powerful. And the
that's
impact
what keeps me going on the most difficult times.
I bet. Yeah, no, thank you for, and as you said, the challenge of communicating and getting the word out about these great opportunities. So,
Absolutely.
so hopefully this
So
will.
if all of you know someone, a neighbor, a friend, a son, daughter, grandchild, by all means, send them to me. The best thing to do is to talk to me. They get in touch with me because there's so many nuances to this, right? That nothing can substitute for a personal conversation.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much. Yeah, we can put it in the, or yeah, you can put your information in the chat. That would be helpful. Your email information. Yeah, so next, John Zhang is the workforce coordinator at ACE, again, the acronyms, Agency for Community Empowerment of NEPA, Northeastern Pennsylvania, whose mission is to empower people with the skills needed to become self-sufficient and enhance their lives through education, training, life skills, and support services. John is born and raised in Northeastern Pennsylvania, and he spent the majority of his career with Children's Service Center and the ARC of Luzerne County's TRACE program, which is Transition to Community Employment. And his time working with disadvantaged populations has assisted his understanding for the unique and complex barriers facing poverty in Northeastern Pennsylvania and its workforce. John graduated from Marywood, so another Marywood alum, with a Bachelor's of Science in Psychology, and he enjoys listening to and creating music, collecting old things, and reliving his childhood through his toy collection. So, John, take it away.
Thank you, Yana. So I'm with the Workforce Initiative Program, like Yana said. The Agency for Community Empowerment at large, we offer Head Start programs in 4 different counties, Pike, Luzerne, Lackawanna, and Wayne. We have a weatherization program, we have affordable housing, and then a food pantry. Next slide. How we can help at ACE and the Workforce Initiative Program. A lot of what we do is assist in alleviating barriers, whether it's, childcare, criminal background, transportation being a big one, and then maybe lack of job skills, and then connecting people with not only our resources, partner agencies, and anything we can find. Next slide. What we do at ACE Workforce Initiative in particular. So we assist with job leads, interview prep, job search skills, resumes, and then we have our training programs, manufacturing, digital literacy, weatherization training program, which is a new one, and then finally transportation support. I'll go over these in a little bit more detail. Next slide. So our employment services, the job leads. We constantly stay up to date with the local job market with the assistance of our area partners and employer relationships. We could help with job search, whether it's somebody doesn't have access to a computer or they're not familiar with the various job search tools. We can assist them there. And then interview prep with mock interviews. We can build a resume for an individual, or we can offer our advice there depending on need. Next slide. So our training opportunities. We have the manufacturing, like I said, digital literacy, and weatherization. Next slide. So our manufacturing training program. This has three major components. Tooling USME is an online education tool that we use. That's 25-hour training. It covers everything from robotics, CNC, additive manufacturing, safety, and then some math on there. Participants will receive an OSHA 10 certification, and then finally we cap that with digital literacy skills. This covers everything from Microsoft Word, Excel, the leading operating systems, information, job search, and more. And we use an online platform called North Star Digital Literacy. Next slide. Another key attribute to this manufacturing program, and one that's popular with our participants, is the site tours to manufacturers. Many people that come to us kind of have an ill-conceived notion of what the world of modern manufacturing even is and what it looks like. So just to go there and see the environment, learn the skills needed in the different pathways to salary bands and job opportunities and skills needed. And then they get to meet hiring professionals, answering all these many questions they have. Many people come to us, they don't really have any experience in the manufacturing field. It's usually warehousing or some, that's usually the prevalent thought is it's Amazon. The eligibility for this is 200% federal poverty guideline and then 18 years of age or older. Next slide. Now, our weatherization training program, this, like I said, is hot off the press here. It started in late February. Our first cohort started in late February. This is a 6-week program. They work with our weatherization department with hands-on field site training, and it's a $16 an hour stipend, not to exceed 30 hours per week. It's typically 26 hours per week they have to set aside. Our first cohort is really relishing the opportunity and really enjoying it. They actually framed an office in our weatherization warehouse. They've been going on job sites, and successful candidates will also qualify to receive tuition for PA College of Technology's retrofit installer course. And then finally, their OSHA 10 certification. And then eligibility, like most of our programs, is 200% federal poverty threshold and then 18 years of age or older. Next slide. Digital literacy program. So this, a lot of our participants really appreciate the challenge this sometimes offers, depending on their competencies. This covers everything from essential computer skills, basics, email, operating systems, and then the essential software skills. This walks them through the various functions of these software like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and then using tech in daily life, from social media and info literacy, digital footprint. And then these are online modules. They can do them whenever they can. And then they can also schedule to come in our office and train as well. And 200% federal poverty. Next slide. Our support services. This is a highly in demand service. As you guys all know, transportation is really poor in our area. We have our ride program that takes you to and from employment. Next slide. So this is offered to Lackawanna County residents only. We also offer rides to medical appointments if you are using the ride for employment. It's available for interviews and job-related appointments, and we do supplement with bus passes for anywhere the ride cannot reach. Eligibility for this is they need to be working at least 21 hours a week, and Lackawanna County resident, 200% federal poverty guideline. And in the operational hours, this is a bit of a limitation. Right now, we only do a first shift from 8:30 to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday, no holidays. And this is typically offered for a 2-month period. We will devise a ride plan for life post ride. Next slide. And then finally, childcare. As I said, we operate Head Start programs in 4 counties. We have our early Head Start program. This is year-round home-based and center-based options from children birth to 3 years and pregnant mothers. And the Head Start program for children 3 to 5 offers both full and part-day center-based options. And then finally, pre-K counts, children ages 3 to 5. And then all programs are income eligible. And next slide. Thank you, everyone. It's not often we get to get chances like this to get together and get the word out. Please don't hesitate and reach out for more information. My number's there, email, and please visit our website. You can apply for a lot of our programs there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. And feel free to put your contact information also in the chat so people have that that way too. Thank you. I mean, what a wide variety of programs that you offer. And that's exciting about the weatherization program, training program that you just launched. So I am excited to hear how that goes in the months to come. So thank you, John. And last but not least, Jennifer Shoemaker Jen is the program manager for the LEAD Center at Outreach, and LEAD stands for Leadership, Education, and Development. And the LEAD Center helps individuals in employment search, creating resumes, mock interviews, and distributes a weekly job posting that's shared throughout Lackawanna, Luzerne, Wayne, Wyoming, Susquehanna County, and Monroe County. So that's a wide footprint. The LEAD Center assists all job seekers and specializes in helping individuals with criminal records, transportation barriers, and individuals in recovery. Jen has been at Outreach since 2015, and she's been program manager for the LEAD Center since 2019. She's worked for over 20 years in social services, juvenile justice, and corrections. Jen grew up in Dunmore, so another fellow local native. She's a 2021 graduate of the core program for Leadership Lackawanna that worked on a core project relevant to socioeconomic issues in the greater Scranton region. And Jen was one of 22 fellows selected from Lackawanna County and Luzerne counties to participate in the NEPA Workforce Leadership Academy that we as the Scranton Area Community Foundation were honored to be selected to host and to facilitate the program in partnership with the Aspen Institute. And just a sidebar, we also have 3 other alumni here, fellows, Kirsten Smith, Sue Spry, and Shani Muhammad. So it's great to see you all and have you all here. It's fabulous to have the fellows representation. It's always great to see you all and see the collective impact of that fellowship and working together to move the issues forward. So thank you for being here, just as a side note. So Jen received her bachelor's in criminal justice from the University of Scranton. And then just as another side note, Jen has several adorable goats, if you don't mind, because you always talked about it during the fellowship. And she's so proud. So she's so dedicated in taking good care of them. So if you ever want to learn about goats, see photos, videos of goats, I'm sure Jen would love to share them with you. So
whether you want to or not, right, Yana?
Right.
You guys got a whole history of goats, caretaking, and personalities during the fellowship, and you were really great about it. So thank you.
Thank you. So Jen, take it away.
All right, thank you. Good morning, Yana. Good morning, everybody on Zoom. I did already peek through and I was really excited to see folks from the fellowship. It's always nice to see your faces again and be able to see that you're here and we're all connecting still. So I love that. Just a little bit about outreach. Yana did a great job introducing myself, so enough about me. Let's talk about outreach. Outreach has been around since 1988. It's formerly EOTC. A lot of folks in the area kind of remember that way. And basically, outreach has made helping families thrive our priority. We offer many resources here. Outreach in Scranton, like life skills, literacy, employment, parenting, early childhood education, youth mentoring, and a lot of wraparound case management and more. Really, our belief here is we're a very strong, company, and we really believe that, when we build strong families, you build strong communities. So we have a lot of different moving parts here, but we all work together to create healthy families and healthy communities. Our vision here at Outreach and purpose is to ensure that everybody has a chance to succeed in life, no matter what your circumstances or backgrounds. I particularly believe in that mission and that value, and we definitely reflect that highly in the Lead Center at Outreach for the Employment Services. So it's a wonderful agency with a lot of different community programming, and it's something certainly I'm very proud of. Next slide. All right, so Lead Center, right? We have the Leadership, Education, and Development. We've always had a very strong workforce development program here at Outreach, formerly EOTC. In 2019, we were able to grow our program and be able to occupy the downstairs space. Some of you guys that are from this area, you would remember that downstairs space being Dress for Success Lackawanna formerly. So that is where the Lead Center is located, on the 7th Ave side here at Outreach. So we do quite a bit of workforce development and job search skills. We do sorting through our job listings and job postings. The job posting is 100% a labor of love. We as a general in my team, we put together a lot of information in that, and it gets shared throughout. I mean, it goes everywhere. I'm not kidding. I even had somebody from Pittsburgh have it at one point because they was an inpatient recovery facility. So a lot of the agencies in the area use our job posting, and I'm very proud of that. I really hope that it becomes, it is helpful for individuals looking for employment. It's broken down into categories. It provides direct links to websites, which I think are really important when navigating employment, because sometimes you can get on these job search sites and the links don't seem to be real, or it seems to be like advertisements. So we really concentrate on having the job search posting, direct links, being able to apply directly through companies. We do resume and cover letter building here as well. We do a lot of mock interviewing and preparing folks to go on the interview and get through some of the nerves. We also do a lot of talking about workplace expectations, and that can be including, how to speak about yourself, how to advocate for yourself, and just being able to, getting to work on time and, not being on your phone all day. So just doing a lot of expectations. We can cover federal bonding, what that means for individuals and who are bondable. We talk a lot about overcoming barriers to employment and how folks can address that issue. We help people apply for jobs and posting their resumes. And, we use a lot of local job postings. It's updated and available weekly. We do a digital copy of that gets sent out through email. They can pick it up in paper. So you can stop by the office and certainly get a copy of the job posting. And then we also have our own Facebook page for the Lead Center. So that way it gets posted there on the Facebook page, as well as additional job fairs, hiring events, or, relevant conversations when it comes to employment. So we try to offer a full service employment stop for individuals. Normally it's a couple of appointments. The first appointment is just figuring out a career pathway and understanding the individual's needs. And then we work on developing a plan for employment and job search. Next slide. One of the things that we've created kind of recently is an employment readiness work group. We hold that every Monday here at the Lead Center at Outreach at 11 o'clock, and it meets until about noon. And what we do is it's for some folks that are having problems finding employment. Maybe we're dealing with some folks that have some, sporadic job history, or they're kind of just having a hard time finding their fit in the employment world. Some of our folks are the challenge is a criminal record, and some of the criminal records are limiting the fields that they can apply to. And then sometimes we just need help with our readiness skills. That could be confidence during interviewing. It could be how to answer the tough questions, and definitely how to just showcase yourself in the best possible light. So the group is an open group. There's no registration needed. And it's a nice way for people to come together. We have a binder we use. Each week it's like a different topic. We can also then work on their resume with them through that group. A lot of times we get people that come in that think their resume gets them the job. And I actually believe it's the resume that gets you the interview. So sometimes that first step is really just looking at someone's resume, really making it defined and unique, trying not to have a cookie cutter approach to it, highlighting someone's skills and abilities, not leaving out anything that should be important on a resume to make you stand out and star as a candidate. So we really try to get the resume up to speed so that way they get the interview. And then that interview is your chance to then sell yourself as a good employee to hopefully get the job. So it's a nice step process that we use. Myself and Heather, who works here, we run the group. And it's anybody that's kind of just having that difficult time getting connected to employment, or even just figuring out what they would like to do. We also see a lot of folks, we have the challenges of criminal records, but we also see folks that are kind of changing a career path, or trying to reinvent themselves in a different field. So we can certainly help do some career exploration during that group as well. Next slide. So some additional resources we offer here at the Lead Center at Outreach is we have employer profile binders. So we kind of put in one place locations, addresses, bus routes of many different area employers. We, in the binders, say different job opportunities and qualifications are listed, as well as benefits and tuition reimbursement. So we have one binder that's just employers that offer some kind of tuition reimbursement, that offers a kind of a career pathway. A lot of times we'll use the tuition reimbursement for our younger job seekers. So maybe some of our students that didn't realize they can work at at an employer, as well as get, money to go to school. So we try to work on that, especially for some of our students or younger folk that are going to have a harder time navigating an educational pathway, maybe because of financial situations or demographics. So we certainly wanted to include that. We also, we recognize, kind of like Jan said, the technical computer aspect is still a struggle for some folks. So we do try to also provide paper forms. And then we would work on their digital literacy, or I have referred folks over to John for their digital North Star classes. Some of our folks just like the way paper feels. I kind of do too. But so we try to also offer paper forms for those folks that feel that that's their comfort level, and then we can assist them with filling that out. As well as we love the introduction now to a lot of different employers. They're using the QR codes and QR codes on business cards. We think that's definitely a fun feature for employment, especially for our younger folks that we get in. They love a QR code. They see a website and I think sometimes they look like I'm crazy. So if they can have that instant connection to where they would like to apply, they really seem to enjoy that. So we try to include that too while they're here so they can use that as a reference. Next slide. We also do a little weekly work wisdom here. So a lot of times it's tips and developments of soft skills before and after employment. We post that here at the Lead Center on the social media pages, and it can go out in the weekly job posting. It's just some helpful tips. Some of the weekly work wisdoms we've done is, how to dress on an interview, how your hair and makeup and hygiene should be on an interview, eye contact, proper posture, and, how you present during an interview. Just little tips so folks can read that while they're here, to just kind of put in their, mind that this is some things that might be helpful during an interview to present more confidently, or to kind of stand out a little bit during the interview. We find currently that there is a lot of folks looking for the same job. Prior, we used to have many jobs and fewer folks looking for them. So we're definitely working on having folks stand out more in the interview, because for that one job, there could be 20 people applying for that same job currently. So we definitely are working on having folks stand out a little bit more, have some more uniqueness to get them recognized during the interview. Next slide, please. So everybody, okay, who are our participants? Well, we see everyone. However, we do have a lot of participants that are re-entrants. We do provide classes, re-entry classes, which include employment, financial literacy, social skills over at the Lackawanna County Prison, myself included. I'll be going there in 20 minutes. It's a busy day. So what we do is we do serve a lot of folks coming out of prison, and we work with them on their resume building, explaining their time while they were in prison, gaps in their resumes. So we work a lot of folks with getting them work ready and how to present themselves the best way. Some of our folks have multi-barriers, so we can be dealing with a criminal record. We could be dealing with lack of transportation or reliable transportation. Housing issues can be something that we're dealing with too, whether it's, lack of safe housing, or just being unhoused in general. Childcare issues continue to maintain, as we see where folks are having a hard time finding work that accommodate childcare or parent scheduling. And also we work with a lot with new people to the workforce, and that could be a lot of our younger demographic, or folks that really just haven't had a strong connection to traditional type employment. We track our participants through the job search process. We ideally like to stay with them for not only when they obtain employment, but also well after that, to see how they have progressed, seeing if they've stayed in that same position, if they somehow have achieved, an advancement in that position. And definitely keeping track of folks is not always easy, just because they themselves change numbers or change addresses. So we try to maintain that track for hopefully like a year, just to see how they're doing. Additionally, we offer additional programs, doula. We have GED here, which is fantastic. A career pathway into a successful employment is definitely through getting your GED. So we offer that for free here. We do a lot of, referrals internally to get folks into the GED program. We test here, everything is paid for. So ideally, if we can, skill up folks, that right there will help them become having an increased living wage and a stronger, stable, job market for them to start looking into. We also offer the Pardon Project, parenting, ways to work, which will be in a whole nother time at another slide during these presentations, small group peer support, and educational supportive connections. So we work with everyone. Lately, I think if we see trends, everyone. I mean, professionals to individuals with degrees that you think, I don't understand why they have a hard time finding a job. It's just the current market. So we work with folks from every demographic, every background, every social economic status that you can think of to really try to connect them to employment and a meaningful living wage career job that they're going to enjoy. Next slide. Some of our big things here is we do educational pathways. We've established connections specifically with Johnson's College. My programming here is wonderful programming we have, and we can actually offer career pathways into in-demand careers. So that means we do have funding for folks that meet the criteria, and it is a recovery-based grant that I have. So individuals in recovery, if they meet that criteria, we can actually pay for their CNC, we can pay for their CDL, and we can pay for a pathway into healthcare. It's fantastic. I think we've done, oh boy, probably 8 to 10 CDL and 2 CNC. Just the addition of those classes, which are short, is amazing when it comes to skilling up someone and their earning potential. So it's a short amount of time in someone's lives to be involved in a training program, but the end result is ginormous that we have seen, especially with CNC and CDL. So we definitely like to partner with many organizations and educational institutions to provide that career pathway. And then it's going to go, next slide, this kind of follows up with that. We recently had an allied service event. Everybody on this panel is well aware that healthcare is hot. It's a hot field. It hasn't trended downward at all. We have worked, and luckily through the partnership of the fellowship, our connections with Allied has been stronger than ever. So we hosted an allied service career event at Outreach in the Lead Center. We had well over 20 folks attend and 5 on-the-spot hirings. What we love about Allied Service is that they provide a career pathway for individuals seeking in-demand jobs. Essentially, you could work at Allied Service and begin in the food service department. And towards the end of your time there, you become an RN fully paid for. I mean, where do you see that? You just don't. It's amazing. So their pathways into high demand jobs like nursing, LPN, and CNA is something that is just entirely incentive is there. And we could not have been happier with our partnership with Allied that continues today, especially to fill those in-demand needs, and as well as a living wage, and again, a pathway into a career for a lifelong journey. Next slide. And our other connection is with CDL driving. We've worked a lot with Roadrunner Academy. CDL, again, is a in-demand type pathway for individuals. CDL is a little tricky in the beginning, we find, because some companies need you to have some experience. However, once you get experience with a certain company, which we kind of know who they are, they're able to transition into a really nice job. They can pick whether they would like to stay, home every night or on the road, and it provides an extremely high livable wage. So through some of our funding with our grant, we have been able to provide the funding needed to get your CDL. And the folks that have gone through that program have been so grateful and have so loved their chance to get their CDL, and they really enjoy driving. So if that's something someone enjoys doing, I definitely recommend that. Next slide. Again, a lot of our manufacturing connections matter. Creating an employer pipeline is so important when it comes to, creating a pathway for individuals to find employment. We have some great area employers here. I like my local family employers. I really am dedicated and loyal to them. We have amazing companies here like Golden Technology, AZAC, Crystal Windows, Interstate, Cintas. They are the folks that have been in our backyard for years. They're very loyal to our community. They're also very loyal to our job seekers. A lot of times, when we're working with folks in the Lead Center here at Outreach, it's really not about just getting them a job. It's getting them a place that they're going to feel good about themselves, that they're going to be treated well. And again, some of these are manufacturers are just outstanding. We have a very robust manufacturing area that does provide a lot of great employment. So connection to these folks that have been here for a while is so important to us here, and we appreciate them every day. Next slide. So just to kind of wrap up, because I can talk forever and Yana knows that, our mission here really is with respect for the individual, with the highest professional standards. At Outreach Center for Community Resources, we offer a variety of programs to promote family stability and economic self-sufficiency. And I think given, like, I see everybody on this panel and it's amazing, we all partner, which I think is so vital for our area and for workforce development and healthy communities and healthy families. There's not one of us on here that's been siloed from one another, and we continue to strive to strengthen those partners. And really, I think that lends to the success of helping individuals find employment, create a career pathway, and, again, have a sustainable, wonderful life that we're all searching for. I'll put my email in the chat because I know it's about that time. Outreachworks.org. There's a lot of information on that for that you might be seeking and ways to reach out, but I'll put the email in the chat. Thank you.
Jen, thank you so much. Wow, what vast resources and wide services you provide for your clients. And I love hearing about the partnerships and both with the fellowship, but also with the employers and other resources, working with John and so forth. So just really incredible. So thank you. We only have a few minutes left. First, I wanted to see if anybody has any questions. I wanted to thank Mary Teresa, John, and Jen. If people have questions, if not, I have questions too. So, or comments, or thoughts, or observations. You can come off mute, or you can put it in the chat. Well, while you're thinking of questions, and this can be for any of you, what can employers do to improve their recruitment and retention efforts that your organization would see as a direct impact on your participant success? Thanks, Kellen.
I'll go quick on that one. So one of the things that we found to be successful for recruitment and retention for employers and their success to get candidacy is definitely transparency when it comes to their job descriptions and what they're looking for. Transparency that could be in who they hire, the job description, and salary. When you post those things and you're transparent, that way you're not wasting the job seeker's time or the employer's time. So I'm always a big one that, like, how much you can pay. Definitely put that in there, as well as, again, the titles. Also, we just find that working with folks, having an application that's easy to apply is definitely a lot of times when folks are applying for work and it's a difficult application, they get frustrated and they give up. So we definitely feel that the employers that make applications streamlined tend to get the most feedback and employees applying to. And then last thing, and Yana, we harped on this, communication. Employers don't always call back the folks, that are applying for their jobs. So, calling people back that are applying, a little touch point is all we're looking for, and not a full-fledged conversation, but just acknowledging that they applied and that, you'll be in touch is nice. We find that helpful. That's it.
That's a lot. That's great, Jen. Thank you. Mary Teresa, do you have any thoughts, or John? Do you?
I would say that I know, especially in big companies, things are very, very automated. Resumes are run through for keywords, whether you qualify or not. And I understand the need for that. And I understand what a great tool that would be. I am not getting dozens and dozens of applications, so I can take the time to be personable. But I would say if I didn't take the time to be personal and I just went by the strict guidelines, we would have no program. So I'm thinking that there might be something in there for larger employees who are having a hard time bringing people in. Are good people getting missed? Because there's many applicants, because things are being automated, are good people unnecessarily getting screened out? Because I had some extremely successful people who technically didn't really qualify totally for this by the national guidelines, but just, in talking to them and understanding their circumstances, I would feel like they had deserve a right to try. And if we didn't do that, we would have missed some pretty amazing service members.
Thank you. That's so important. Yes. And I read that that is such a huge barrier. And I guess that's where the importance of working with their resumes on the front end and making sure they have all those appropriate keywords. So they do, when there is that automated filter, that they are then elevated to the interview stage. But that is a big barrier. Thank you for pointing that out.
Actually, just to piggyback on that, my job as the Director of Career Services is really to make sure that our students and graduates get ideal jobs. And it has been really hard lately to get them in the door of employers. So Mary Teresa, I hear what you're saying, because so often I'll call the employer and say, they may not have made it through the applicant tracking system, which is the AI that filters the keywords and tells the employer, this is a good resume, this is not. And so we've been, having more success when we work directly, but it's also, really hard because there's 1,000 students and there's one of me. But it is, that is a huge problem in NEPA, I've found, is that the employers want the automated submissions, but they're missing they're missing a lot of really great applicants. And so how do you solve that? That's an ongoing, dilemma.
Thank you, Kirsten. That's really good.
And a lot of the younger population is so used to texting and everything online. A lot of the personal connections, it's not part of their generational experience, right? I wasn't born with a phone in my hand. So, thinking that they should reach out and call or stop by is not really on their radar, because they applied online or they texted. So it's just a whole combination of things. I think we're swinging toward AI like, isn't this great? And probably we're going to swing back a little bit before we land in the middle of what makes it a tool and what makes it a barrier.
Be mindful of the time. I don't want to cut short this really robust conversation, but I know that Corin also wants to share some announcements about upcoming continuation of this dialogue there that we can do. But I wanted to thank Mary Teresa, John, and Jen so much for sharing your insights and all of the great work that you do. So this was really valuable. Thank you. And thank you for everybody for participating today. So Corin.
Thank you, Johanna. You did an excellent job. So thanks again, everyone, for coming. Just to do a reminder that we are having at least one of these events per week between now and our May 1st in-person NEPA Thrive General Collaborative wrap-up. So coming up on Wednesday, March 19th, we're going to discuss childcare and the barriers with childcare and employment. We have an employment resource panel with a lot of our sponsorship participants joining that. We are going to be talking a lot about transportation, and we'll have someone from Outreach back at that one. And then on Thursday, April 3rd, one of our team members, Brad Reed, who is our philanthropy manager, will be talking about what community foundations do for employee recruitment and retention. So we encourage you to log in, register for those Zooms, and then we hope to see you on the 1st of May in person. So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day, and we will see you soon.